Good day, this is Steve Q here, and I just want to talk to you today very briefly about changing your approach. Now, if everything's working for you really well and life just couldn't be better, turn this video off now. But if things could do with a little improvement or maybe a big improvement, keep watching. So there's an old definition of insanity that I keep talking about, which is what Einstein gave us. And you all know this, isn't it? It's the old adage of doing the same thing time and time again and expecting to get a different outcome, especially if you are unhappy with your current outcome or your current results. And all an outcome is, I know in psychology circles, in NLP, they talk about outcome, but all outcome is your results. It's what happens after a certain set of activities, like work, have been carried out, and what we achieve as a result of those activities. And really, if we're not happy with the results of those activities, what we need to do is put the phone down, stop everything, keep all distractions out of the way and sit round the table and brainstorm new ideas, a new approach, a new way of doing things. I remember listening for the first time, my goodness, it must have been like 25 years ago, 30 years ago, to Tony Robbins when he was telling the story, really wonderful motivational story that he told back in the day in his Unlimited Power series about how Mr. Honda kept failing just after the war when he was introducing this motorcycle. It was the first mass-produced motorcycle called the Honda Cub. And Tony kept saying, he changed his approach. That didn't work. He changed his approach, you know? And he talked the same thing about Colonel Sanders, who started Kentucky Fried Chicken business when he was in his 70s or something, living on social security checks, and decided he wanted to change his life. And he kept changing his approach all the time until he found something that works. Because the initial idea, the initial approach that we have, guys, it might have the best of intentions and the best of our intellect and brainstorming abilities at the time, but it doesn't always transcend into the real world. So we've got to change our approach. So I hope you've got that, change your approach. If it's not working, sit down with your colleagues and find a way that does, because there is a way. That's the good thing. If there are other people doing what you are doing and having a greater level of success, that is called social proof. And if they can do it, you can do it, unless they've got two heads or two brains or something like that, which of course they haven't. I'm just joking there. So, little story to end with. There was these two guys who go out on a hunting trip every year. They go hunting for elk. And this particular year, they've had a very successful day. They caught 4 elk, and they're in a clearing with these 4 elk that they've hauled there. And the pilot of the little private plane that they've come along in, he says, guys, it's time to go. And you can only bring 2 of those elk on the plane, you know, because with our combined weight and the weight of those big elk, the plane will surely crash. And one of the hunters says, listen, he says, you're just a rookie, you know nothing. He said, we came here, we did the same trip last year with a different pilot, same plane though, same type of plane exactly, and we caught 4 elk and we put them all on the plane. So, being kind of reprimanded, this rookie pilot says, well, you're the boss, I guess you know best, you're experienced, let's get them on. So they haul these 4 elk on, and they all get on the plane, and off it goes. And just getting above the trees, and the plane starts to cough and splutter. The engines are failing because it can't stand there's too much weight on. And they crash. Thankfully, nobody's killed. And as these 2 guys scramble out of the wreckage, one of them says, hey, John, he says, you know what? He says, this place looks really familiar. He said, I'm certain this is exactly the same spot as we crashed last year. So, bit of fun there to end with. I'm Steve Q. Please like and share this video and do all the polite things that you should do on social media. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.